All right, and at this time we're going to go ahead and bring Lew into the webinar, and we're going to go ahead and get started, guys. Hey, Lew, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, Danny. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing awesome. How are you doing?
Good. Fantastic. Fantastic. Can't complain. No snow on the ground, and that's not bad for February in Indiana.
That's right. I would expect you guys to be snowed in, and we've been pretty lucky here too to get some pretty good weather. So that's awesome.
Awesome. Well, cool. Very good.
Yeah, so I'm going to let you go ahead and get started in just a second, and
Okay.
just to let everyone know again, what you're going to be going over. We're going to be talking about Foursquare and really what you can do with it, and I'm going to let you show all the ins and outs of it. You are the expert here. We do a little bit of Foursquare here at PhotoBiz. We have a check-in
Hmm.
spot that people walking around in downtown can check in when they appear here. So,
Very
you know,
cool. So, who's the mayor of the water cooler?
that would be
Chelsea?
yeah, Chelsea. Yep. Chelsea has officially. I will never be the mayor of PhotoBiz unless she magically misses work for a month or something.
That's funny. Very good.
So I'm going to go ahead
Very
and
good.
let you go ahead and get started. And
All right.
I just want to let everyone know that you guys are typing all your responses in the correct place. And what we do, we're going to wait to the end of the webinar for me to ask any questions. So Lou is basically going to be presenting throughout the whole webinar. And then near the end, I will be kind of a panelist taking your questions and asking them over to Lou. So please hold off your questions to the end. If you do have any and you want to type it in the box to kind of just have it pending, I would recommend doing that. We do answer them at the end of the webinar, though. So I'm going to let Lou present uninterrupted, and we're going to answer them at the end.
Very cool. Well, awesome. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely, and I'm going to go ahead and let you get going from here. And if you need anything, just let me know.
Very good. Will do, Danny. Thanks so much. And hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. As we mentioned, PhotoBiz and I really welcome you. We appreciate you coming out on a Wednesday afternoon and spending some time with us, or Thursday afternoon. I'm sorry. Jeez, it's like I got used to the Groundhog Day from last week when we were going to have this. Um, anyway, but what Foursquare is basically a location-based social network that utilizes the GPS feature of your phone or the IP address of your computer to identify your location. And I'll show some samples of that later. It doesn't give you a route, unlike normal GPS we think about, but lets your friends know where you are, where you've been, and possibly probably where you're going. It's really simple to join. You can sign up using your smartphone, or you sign up using your smartphone. You can use a cell phone with internet browsing to actually access it on the web as well. It's Foursquare is also a game. It's a social media tool all in one. So, whoops, I went the wrong direction there. Let's get that rascal going the right way. And there we go. And there again, if you have questions, I know we do the tweet at PhotoBiz and PhotoBiz Live, so you can tweet us there, and we'll get to some questions answered too, and we'll do them at the end of the show as well. Oops, looks like I got a duplicate slide there going on. So we'll kind of move that over to there. Again, with the location-based social network and GPS, it's kind of a fun thing to do. And at Imaging USA, I use this a lot. I want to throw in that example. When I worked the ASP booth, the American Society of Photographers, I checked in there, and we created a little bit of a check-in. We actually had 2 or 3 people then follow the lead and check in as they come by and visit the ASP booth. But it was also a place where friends of mine could actually knew where I was working at that time or knew where I was at, so they could come by and say hi. We did it again at the certification booth. We checked in there. I tied it into Facebook, so then it said come by and visit the certification booth to get all your questions answered. And I saw a few other companies actually using it at the trade show, so that was kind of a fun thing with that you can do. Foursquare is a game and social media tool. You check in, the app then pushes those notifications, just like I talked about, to all those you're connected to. Just kind of like Facebook or Twitter, you have your friends, you accept friends. It's a great way to share information about shops, restaurants, clubs, any frequent locations you use. And then just like I said, I used it at Imaging USA. I've used it at WPPI before, a long time ago before it got as popular as it is. That way I could check in, people could find you there, and it'll also show you who's there. So this weekend we hosted the Super Bowl here in Indianapolis. they had what they call a super swarm. And we'll probably delve more into the badges and other things you can earn in the second part of this seminar, because as I've worked on this webinar for today, there's just so much information you use to get you started. I think we can go another hour on all the little intricacies of it. But those tips, one of the things I also like about this is a great info to get real-time info while you're traveling, and I'll show you an example later how you can use it to explore. But I've used it to find a good place to eat, things to try while at a restaurant as well. And we'll go, whoops, went forward again. I guess I should get used to my new fingers, huh? But anyway, welcoming you to Foursquare, we're going to use it's an essential marketing tool. The ideas can work for any business, and I've seen so many places on there. When I've checked into local malls and Tippecanoe Square Mall in Indiana, you pull in, check in, and pull up the Foursquare app. It'll give you all these specials and things that are running on in the mall itself. So then it'll ask you to try to check into certain places. You might get a discount. By the end of this program, you're going to have more of an idea of what I'm talking about with that and how you can implement it into your marketing. But we're truly at an age where we can engage most of our clients on a one-to-one basis with, as opposed to like print media, radio, and television, that mass advertising monopoly that they used to have really is no longer. We can tie it right into your special interest. And you're going to see here in this next slide what I'm talking about. As I pull up, this is just an example of where I'm at. When I am at my office, I can pull up all these little places. So we have a soda fountain, a restaurant, we have, let me point this around here, we have the Steak and Shake, we have a liquor store, we have the Walgreens. So there's all kinds of things around. When I pulled into one of the malls, it gives me every shop inside, from Gap, Old Navy, Abercrombie, Hollister, The Buckle, you name it, JCPenney, Sears. About 60% of them have some sort of special. And while talking to the folks at The Buckle, who, they're a higher-end store that doesn't really care what Old Navy sells their pants for, they didn't seem real interested when I showed them what I was doing. When the kid asked me when I was checking in at his place to give him a shout-out for some good service. Then all of a sudden, when he found out that Abercrombie had something going on, they decided that this might be an app for them, because now suddenly the high-end stores were also offering something, and it was, a discount on a $70 T-shirt or something. So, but it was still something there that gave them a little more push ahead of the competition. Foursquare also, you can tie it into your blogging, Twitter, and Facebook, and it allows you to create a creative campaign. So that's what I like about the feature of it. For some reason, I can't get my mouse to work quite right to bring that in there. There we go. So I want to show you there. So you'll see what it looks like as we're going to check in. We've got the restaurants, and kind of that's what it's going to look like on the iPhone. So here's the Explore feature. Basically what we're doing, this thing changes rapidly. And I was telling Danny earlier today, I just got a notice on my iPhone that the app changed, went onto the website for Foursquare. They've actually added new stuff. There's menus, there's other pieces, and I didn't get time to read all of it to change, but I think that you can see it as a lot of the spas, hairstylists, salons, art stores are using it. So I'm pretty sure we can all work ways to do this within our own businesses in the photography world. One of the things I see as a fun thing will be for those who host like a senior rep or a review night for that. You get all these people checking in, or they check in when there's sessions. And this is one of the things that I do even at weddings, is I check into the wedding venue, I check into the church, and I talk about the bride and groom. I sometimes will do a shot of the church from my iPhone, upload it there, so there's always something to tie into it. I may even do a quick shot on my iPhone of the bride and groom, or just the bride, or some detail shots with it, so that I'm checking in. So I not only put out on the web that I'm at a certain location, then I go to the reception, so I may put a shot of the cake up there, I may do something with that as well. I'm always tying it in. These things are tracks that lay out there on the web that will end up tying into your search engine optimization as well. So people, when they do a search for that wedding venue, may find your check-in at Foursquare. then they find out that you're a wedding photographer, so you put a little information and a shout out in there. But as we see here, as I do an explore feature down there at the bottom of the screen, we will see that we have explore, friends, check-in, and lists, and then of course my own status there, Lew. But what it does is it's going to give me food, coffee, nightlife, shops, entertainment, arts and entertainment, great outdoors, stuff like that. That's all within that area. So if I have a question about where I want to go, I can check that. While actually down in North Carolina this summer, basically we'll get more into the check-in specials, but I tried a certain meal because of a tip on Foursquare. So how much does it cost? It's absolutely free. The costs are low as far as when, there's no investment in it. Foursquare is a free download, free service on the internet, and you'll see Walgreens has a special there. However, as we know with social media and all the other things involved, it's time consuming. The time and resources devoted to it are high. However, unlike many forms of social media, Foursquare, we can set Foursquare up in less than an hour, and people can truly track measurable results almost immediately. With it being location-based, the tools connect to a direct point of sale, so you're tying your location in. And even if you have a home studio or a place that's not frequently visited, you can still work it as a branding option for you as well and not have to tie it into that. That's some of the things we'll discuss later as well. However, these are the only tools, these location-based social media tools are the only tools that really connect with a direct point of sale. So, you've got Twitter and Facebook and things that don't really tie it in there, but if you've got someone in your studio that stops in, they check in, that's a great way to broadcast where they are, what they're doing, and have them give you a good shout out. One of the things that one of the menswear stores hit me with a good idea the other day, and I'm kind of looking at a product and milling around whether I'm thinking I'm going to buy it or not. And the lady asked me if I had texting service, and texting service is another social outlet that we can discuss down the road. However, I'm like, yeah, I text on my phone. So she says, well, why don't you text win to this number and see what you win? Well, it ended up being $15 off. So they sold me right there, because I was looking at something, and now all of a sudden the price got a little bit better. Not saying we always have to discount, but it was one of those fun things that they do, and it was really a good way to make me interact with them. So anyway, moving on from that, the Foursquare, provides us with tracking tools as well. So while we do put a little time investment into it, we actually get some free stuff back that we can track what we're doing, and that's one of the things we want to detail with another program too as we move in. Utilizing shouts and tips, just as we talked about, can give you really good chances for positive results. Once you set this thing up, it's basically put on autopilot. From there out, all you need to do is really create a strategy like you would with any marketing plan. Build your business profile up around it, promote check-ins, track your results, and there again, all you really got invested is a little bit of time, and that's the main thing. So we're not spending a lot of money on something. We can just basically get it in there and do what we need. So just a reminder, you can tweet those questions out there to us, and then we'll have a permanent track and answer them as we can. So more unique elements to Foursquare. The game side of it. So people are competitive by nature. They don't want to be outdone. So with the game, you're gathering points, badges. You can even become mayor, and that's why I made the joke about, we see it on TV now. It's so 47 seconds ago. You're who's mayor of the water cooler. Somebody doesn't want to be outdone. So we all want to get the points. We want to do this. And then it becomes kind of fun. So people who I thought would never find, they say, oh, it's just a silly game, now are racing me all the time. And I've been the one guilty of not checking in and keeping as competitive with it. But it's pretty cool. You want to get to the top of the rack. And the more mayorships you get, the more points you get. More locations, more badges. You'll see all these things. But these things can cross over with your Twitter, your Facebook. So you're really broadcasting a venue wherever you're at, or if someone's at your place, they're broadcasting you every time they're there and every time they check in. Oops. If I could remember right from left, we would actually move the correct direction. So with enough check-ins, you eventually get that mayor spot. And I'll show you here the next slide. We've got, I forget where I was at here, but this was one of the dairies, one of the place that's up in northern Indiana. I drive by it all the time, but I finally stopped in to try it. You know, a friend of mine said you got to try their homemade ice cream, and yeah, it was very good. I definitely see the difference. So now it's not, I don't ever want to buy it from the store again. But you'll see, be the first to leave a tip, let other people know what's good. This place has no mayor, so it could be you. And so that's why they gave me that information there. You'll see this place has no mayor. I could add a photo if I want. Add the photo does some pretty neat stuff too. And then we talk about the competitive spirit. There we'll see my friends. We can see where they've checked in, where they're home, you know, and I have friends all over the world. So you got nearby, which will give you your friends just in your local area. If you click on the tab for worldwide, then you'll actually see everybody from everywhere around the country or everywhere around the world. So, and then we use this. That's like I say, these folks, most all of these people I met at Imaging USA by using Foursquare. So I want to give you a list of basic terms. There's some things you'll want to get used to before you get involved too far. The check-in, that's what happens once you found your destination. It pushes the info to your networks, and the points are achieved. That's where your badges get unlocked, and you can earn specials. And it's going to be really cool when I get to the specials tips. You'll see what can really happen there. Tips, that's the messages. That's basically similar to a shout-out. You're just giving a tip at a location, be it good or bad. Hopefully we don't have bad ones. We just want those good ones, but they're nice little testimonials. And when these people push these, they go out to Twitter and Facebook. And then unlock, that's what happens when you earn a badge. There's various badges. There's the social badge. If you click check into 4 nightclubs in one night or in a 8-hour period, it'll give you the social butterfly badge. If you check into Atlanta Airport, say this, it doesn't have to be Atlanta Airport, but you check into a place that has 50 or more, that's called a swarm. Then this weekend, because people checked in at Super Bowl parties, that became a super swarm. There were over, 250 people in one place. That becomes another type of badge. You'll unlock that badge. And it's a great way to meet people. You know, you'll have friends. Sometimes we have friends we've never met, and you can actually run into them as you've checked in. You'll find somebody's at your place. Then you have the shout. These are messages that you can post when you check in or without checking in. Say you just want to, say hey to your peeps. You can do that. It's just like a Twitter message. Friends are those you're connected with on Foursquare. And then again, the badges are those little awards that you earn, and I should have a little sample of one here towards the end. But they give you this badge, and then when you win a badge, the badge is applied out to on your Foursquare, or not only on your Foursquare profile, but then it's also sent out to Facebook and Twitter. And then usually you'll get 5-10 comments on that. So it's about creating interaction with people. And we always want to stay in front of the folks. Then the eventual award you can win is the mayor, that's the ultimate award. You get the mayor of wherever. So I think I hold 29 mayorships or something like that. And then the trick is to keep those mayorships. So in the end, what you have to do to win the mayor award, you have to have a profile image up there. So don't be like some of those Twitter followers that still have the egg. I can't stress enough the importance of having a profile image on everything you do in your social media. One, it adds credibility. It lets people know who you are and what you look like. So you'll be recognized. It's so funny. I get recognized by 3 Twitter followers while on an airplane, and it was kind of the first guy to introduce himself. It was kind of creepy because they kept walking by and staring, and then finally I had to put my hands up and mimic the profile shot, and then he figured out my name, and then I figured out how they knew me. But that's a good way, just to get yourself out there. You want people to know you and know who you are. So make sure you have a profile shot. One of the things that drives me crazy is as I see marketing, it says marketing, make millions with online marketing, and listen to our program, and they haven't even taken the time to put a profile image up there. So that makes me wonder if they're a real marketing company or not. Why would a business want to be on Foursquare? Well, it's not because all the big companies are doing it. They are there, and that doesn't really mean you have to do it. But obviously they find it viable, and there's something to it. Now we just have to find out a way to make it work for us, as long as we can put the time into it. Unlike other tools, Foursquare isn't really a relationship building tool, so we hear that so often in all of our marketing areas, that we want something we want to build relationships. But it requires direct action, it's not a passive advertising type of tool that the other networks employ. Foursquare users share information like others, but Foursquare requires some action on the user's part as well. So with that, they got to come into your business. They physically got to be there. If they're not, you can't really just be a few blocks away or a mile away, because it'll say, uh-oh, our GPS records show you're just a little too far away here, no points earned. So you can't kind of cheat the system like that. And that's what makes it kind of cool. You got to be there to unlock it. And if they want to unlock a special, there's really got to be action on their part. And there's some real advantages now that you have them face to face. You know they're there, so you've got them inside your store. One of the things here, and we'll see this on the first slide to the left, Walgreens, right before Christmas, every time you checked into Walgreens, you're automatically entered for a chance to win $200 on a $200 Walgreens gift card. So you'll see I checked in. I shop there frequently because I just live around the corner from them, so it's always easy to stop in there and pick things up. So you stop. It said I was 6 days away from becoming the mayor, so I had to check in, unlock that, and then you'll see in the center there I will tap to redeem that special once I pull it up on my phone. It works and looks exactly almost the same for the Android system as it does the iPhone, just a few minor differences in there. And then it'll tell you, nice check-in, you earn 3 points, and then if I tap the little blue dot to redeem it, it opens up another window that gives me the check-in special. Then it tells me that, congratulations, I unlocked that special, gives me all the details. Unfortunately, I didn't win the $200 during the Christmas giveaway. That they've changed their specials now. They kind of go back and forth, and obviously, then they give away $1 coupons, $2 coupons, etc. for that kind of. Right now, I think it's whatever Pepsi products or something that they're promoting. And then just recently, they came back to right before the Super Bowl was Pepsi products. Now they're back to $200 gift card for Valentine's Day. So we got the questions. You can tweet those. I see a few of those happening. And then we got some interesting stats that come up with the mobile phones. Foursquare basically is utilized on the iPad, iPhone, and the Android system. You can, like I said, use the other cell phones as long as you have web browsing capabilities on there. So smartphone penetration in the United States is just above 17%. Facebook through mobile browsers has risen 112% in the last year. Twitter mobile users has risen 347% in the last year. So you can see people are moving to the mobile side of things, and that's very important with what PhotoBiz has with the mobile websites, that they can view it on their iPad, their iPhone, the Android. That's one of the greatest things that I had available to me since the inception, was to be able to, no matter what. I loved being at a wedding and giving someone my card, who then can come over and say, wow, I love your website. They haven't even left the reception and they're already looking at things. So that's a huge plus for everything we do. Advantages to what we're doing on Foursquare is once it's set up, there's really not much you have to do beyond that other than keep up with your promotions and change things like that. So the competition can overlap. If you're worried about you got a competitor down the street, if you have a deal or a special in Foursquare, the users are notified at these places within several blocks. So while they might be too far away to check in, even if they're in the area and that distance, they get notified of that special. So it's just important to have something pop up. You know, whether if they check in, maybe, you know, different places have wallet tins, or you have something, maybe they come in, book a session, they get, you know, something really small that you can give them that's very, very cost advantageous to you, but it looks like a huge benefit for them and gives them a reason. As long as there's something up there, it's going to tell them there's a special. So, and you see that with restaurants. Sometimes there's restaurants listed, nobody has a special, but another one might have something, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Chili's is one of the big ones that has some things going on. That can have some amazing results, and I've already told you about the mall. Basically, I went with specific places in mind, and they didn't get my attention because I knew, but when the Buckle realized that their competitors and their high-end competitors were giving an offer and a reason for people to go down and check in, they looked at me and wanted to know how this Foursquare thing really worked, and then they were willing to throw me a bonus because of I didn't go down there. I could have gone down there, but I didn't. And the best of all, you know, with what we do with Foursquare, it's all free, and you've got you got awesome analytics going on inside there. It's also very repetitive. Unlike Facebook, users of Foursquare can use it regularly. Every time they come in, they're going to get points. They want to keep up that. They want to keep up with, you know, their mayor status. They want to get ahead of their friends. They might want to become the mayor. Who knows? Whereas Facebook, you can only get to like a page one time, and if you don't put something up, and I think we all find that sometimes we throw things up on the Facebook page that we think will be interesting and they're not, and then something else you throw up gets 53 or 63 comments and just keeps going. So Foursquare, you know, it's kind of an interesting thing. People get on it and they kind of start keeping it. And we'll show you here, one of the things you can do is you're going to be able to get more traffic, create that customer awareness, and get some loyalty rewards. So when I talked about the Fair Oaks Farms Dairy up by Crown Point, Indiana, you'll see here, as I checked in, there's 2 people listed. There were 2 people on Foursquare there at the same time I was there. They offered a mayor special, a free Sunday for the mayor. Show us your phone when you become the mayor, and we'll scoop you up some love. So now people have a reason to become the mayor, and then every time they go in there, they can probably pull a free Sunday if they're still the mayor. The way it looks, there was no little thing saying that they couldn't be repeat on that. The tools that it's going to give you, one of the other things I would like to talk about too is we also have Foursquare as or Facebook also has its check-ins, and you'll see that on there. The folks, you know, that came along long after Foursquare. Foursquare is definitely a player in the geolocation networks. It's very business friendly, unlike the others, and it has stood the test of the competitors. When Facebook actually entered that field at 500 million users on Facebook compared to just a handful on Foursquare, Foursquare had the largest day of new user registrations the day Facebook launched its check-ins. So now with over 1 million check-ins per day and some other competition out there, Foursquare still has the most active user base. It's a small but mighty player in this field. I think they're pretty well here to stay. And like I said, today they just launched new things for business on there as well. So you can really add a lot more information that you can get out to the fan base and to your connections. One of the other things, the tracking tools. It's going to give you some amazing stats. You can check the frequency, time of day, the unique visits, number of check-ins per day, even gender and how many were broadcast to Facebook and Twitter. So, you know, that's right there. That's some really nice statistics, all provided free of charge. The way to create more traffic, create a special deal. Those who are close enough, they'll get notified. You know, as we all know, newspaper ads and promotions are expensive. Radio's ungodly expensive, and sometimes they go unnoticed. Add a Foursquare promotion to complement these if you're using some of that media, but you'll actually know you have good ROI tracking right on there to see who's taking advantage of that. You can also create customer awareness, combine all of those features with check-ins, unlock promos, connections to Twitter, Facebook is huge. When those tips are broadcast, the free exposure is totally amplified again and again. Create those loyalty rewards. You know, we have punch cards and things like that, and tracking software to do it. You can actually do a Foursquare check-in and create your loyalty rewards based off that. It'll show you who the user is and how many times they've checked in to your business. You can just pull that right up. And that's one of those things that I will want to probably address in another webinar, is actually show you all of the tweets or all of the information, and we'll track it right down to screenshots of what we're doing with that and how to do it. So as we get started, some of the Foursquare strategy is to utilize it as an extension of your current marketing. And it's not a replacement, nor is any social media ever going to be a replacement for your current marketing. But you want to plan, promote, and execute. So my first suggestion is you're going to define those objectives and how and what you're going to use. What are your reasons for being on Foursquare? We're going to go through some examples from some of the companies that I've checked into around the country as I've been doing some things, and we'll see, and then we can kind of address that down the road. But you know, you want to define what actions are you seeking? How will you make others react? Check in. How are you going to get them to leave tips? How are you going to deliver those specials? And how are you going to push them to other outlets such as Twitter and Facebook? And then we got a few examples here, so I want to show you these. This is when I pull up, say we're going to check into Chili's, and we're looking at that. So it says Chili's has got a check-in special, and this is the same special no matter where you're at. I've been in 3 states and tried this at all 3, and it's the same, and it's even right down to the same code. But what happens is it'll say check-in special, start your meal right. You can check in Chili's and receive a free order of chips and salsa. Then if you have, it says, then they got a friends special, so the more the merrier. If 3 or more of your friends check in at Chili's, you'll receive a free appetizer for your table as well. Then you just simply click on it, hit, you know, redeem, and then you get it. And you'll see the far right slide. Basically, that's another one of those things that can explore. If you just want to hit the Explore tab in your app, it's going to give you food, coffee, nightlife, shops, arts and entertainment. We kind of talked about that earlier. Outdoor venues, you can find state parks. You can find just about anything you want to do. When I was doing an engagement session in Michigan, I was able to find exactly where I needed to go by just doing the Explore feature on Foursquare. And then I gave, you know, I'm not familiar with the area at all, but what happened was I knew approximately where we were going to be. Then I called my bride and groom, said, here's your address. Meet me over there. We're going to have our engagement session right down here on the River Place. And a couple more examples. Walgreens, a check-in. There again, it's got the $200. You get that. Do your whole 9 yards. Enter it again. That's actually their newest one. Then what we want to do is we want to define the target, and then who's taking action. Do we want to target regular clients, wanting them to tell their friends about their experience, or do we want to bring in new clients? So here's one of the other, we got the mayor special. We've already kind of talked about that one, so I won't spend a lot of time there. Then again, you'll find places that have no mayor. And the other thing, make sure that, you know, that somebody who lives 100, 500 miles away isn't the mayor of your business. Make sure you're getting people to check in and work that system. Again, we got the tweet your questions if you have any questions. And then we want to make sure that we set some measurable goals. want to do like the number of specials redeemed, number of check-ins, track and adjust those accordingly. You want to, see how many check-ins you've had. Maybe check in, see, you might have had people already. If you're not already on Foursquare, you may have already had people check in there as well. So check and see if your business isn't already up on there, and then you can claim your business. All you have to do is go in and claim it, and that's another program. We're going to show you how to do all that stuff. We go in on your profile, set it up, and then you can claim your business. Now, once you claim your business, you can't be the mayor, but it's kind of fun that you can set back. Then you get all the good stuff that lets you monitor what's going on. So to achieve these goals, you're going to have to ask yourself, what are you going to do? Are you going to have incentives for check-ins, tips, specials, those badges? What kind of thing can we do to get it going? Then we always want to put ourselves in the shoe of the users. Would I want to check into my own business? Is it something I would want to unlock as a client? Rewards offered. What's a mayor special you might have? How are you going to create that competition and rivalry in the check-in specials? So now I got a few more that I'm going to show you. We're going to kind of wind down so we can spend a few minutes with questions and answers. So there again, welcome to Walgreens. This was one of their other promotions. You check in, you unlock a mobile coupon for $1 off mini Pepsi product cans. Then basically what it did was gave you a text code to hit, and then it would send you the coupon to check out at the scan. Pizza Hut over the weekend had teamed up with American Express. They have that $10 pizza deal. You spend $10, get $5 off at your Super Swarm Sunday. Just tap below and pay with your American Express card. And basically, order online, use your American Express. They were giving you a $5 credit on your American Express card. There again, Walgreens has the check-in special again for $200 gift card. And then here's some interesting ways to engage your clients. And this all happened while my weekend, and I was amazed. In Frankenmuth, Michigan, had an engagement session there. Wonderful couple, Emily and Nick. We had a great time. And what happened was, of course, I checked in to a Walgreens there, ironically, so I pretty shopped there quite a bit apparently. And they sent me back, hello, hope you had a great, hello, time to stock up. Now they're tweeting me. They're using my Foursquare check-in to tweet me back to tell me about another special on Hall's warm-ups cough drops in the cough and cold aisle, and then sent me a link so I could actually find out where they were at and what the product was. So they're using Facebook, Twitter. I haven't noticed the Facebook one yet quite as much, but you could interact with them on Facebook as well. And then you can use Twitter. And then what happened was I checked into the Drury hotels, and they sent me a tweet back that said, welcome, enjoy your stay. Then Bronner's, the Christmas house, which is the world's largest year-round Christmas store. Let's see here, going wild. There we go, year-round Christmas store, Bronner's Christmas in Frankenmuth, Michigan. I don't know how many, this thing's like 100 acres of nonstop Christmas shopping, ornaments, trees, you name it, everything's there. I just had to visit because I was in town. And I checked in, of course, and they sent me a direct or an app message on Twitter. Thanks for visiting Bronner's on Saturday. So they defined it. I think that was the next morning that they sent that out. But I thought that was pretty cool. What a way to let them know they're watching what you're doing on the social media. So, what you want to do is you really want to do a lot of check-ins. With your check-ins, how can you wow them? It's one of those things you want to hit them with something. And really the response wowed me on these with what Walgreens is doing and talking to you on Twitter and actually paying attention to you. The execution of it, redeeming specials, easy system in place, and one of the things too definitely want to do is make it easy. There's no point in making it really complicated because we don't want to have to overthink this thing. We just want things to fly through pretty quickly and smoothly. And educate the staff. There's nothing worse than having a check-in special, and then when you tell someone about it, they look at you, and then they get the manager, and they look at you and go, we don't even know what that is. that's nice that it's on your phone, but what is this? So sometimes that can happen. So you want to make sure, and I've actually had that happen with discount cards for various, associations and things that were set up with companies. I went into my own insurance company and said, oh, I just realized that we get 15% off. And they all looked at me and said, nah, we don't have a clue what that is. We'll have to call our corporate office and probably do something there. We have really no idea what that is. So make sure you educate the staff, because that can be really a frustrating experience for your client. And then have someone manage and track it. Make sure you pretty much put that in place of whomever it is, and then make sure that they kind of share that. So if someone leaves or exits your company, there's always somebody else that can kind of step in and take it over. You always want to make sure that that these kind of things are taken over, and you don't have a big mix. But it's really not that hard of a system. So just make sure you have someone tracking and managing it. Nothing worse than leaving a tweet or something like that unknown. And so that's one of the things that impressed me about these companies. We can talk about these are small little cities or this little that, but right there in Frankenmuth, to find it, the hotel tweeted me back, the world's largest Christmas shop. They send me messages to thank me for being there. So I thought that was pretty cool that we're right in the middle of things, and they're using social media to its best. And I have to say that was really one of the best stays I've had in many places in a long time. I think that probably will wrap it up. I want to thank PhotoBiz and everybody that makes it possible for me to do the things I do. So give them a big shout out. The guys at PhotoBiz are just awesome, and the gals. You do a fantastic job, and I think that gives us about 15 minutes to possibly go over some questions and answers, or questions that we might have. And then, like I say, I want to do a part 2. We'll take you step by step through the Foursquare pages. We'll have screenshots to go through everything with you, just get it set up, to do your tracking, to actually put it right hands on. But I want to give you some ideas so you can get started, and then the next time we come in, show you right where to go with it.
Well, awesome, Lew. Thank you for taking the time to present today, and thank you guys for tuning in. So we're going to go right into questions, answer time. So if you do have a question, please go ahead and type it into the Q&A box, guys. And it looks like a couple are coming in, so I'm just going to kind of work my way down the list, and we'll take some questions. So let's see. First question here is from Lori. She says, when you sign up and have your studio in your home, do you categorize it as a private residence or a business location?
I would go ahead with a business location, because you do have your business there. So that way, it's there. It's up to you whether or not how much you want to display the information. And as of today, one of the new updates, they let you actually put in hours of operation too. So that's going to be a really cool feature as well. So then you can put on there, by appointment only. We're not a place that can check. You just come by and drop in, because that's how mine is now. So it's not an actual major storefront. So it's off to the side and out back. And so I don't want people just dropping in on my summer cookout.
Totally.
I mean, they're more than welcome, but we'll have fun. But I'm not working.
Exactly. So let me let's see what we got inside of here. So it'd probably be a good idea for someone like Lori to list by appointment only.
Yeah, very much so. Unless she has regular hours of operation that you don't mind, people coming in, but I don't, because I'm not here. So 90% of the time, I'm not ever here. So they won't.
Exactly.
I don't want them to think they can find me. Yeah.
Well, let's see what other questions are coming in here. So if you got any tweeted at you, if you want to answer those, and then I'm going to take a look on our Twitter as well. And we'll see what other questions you guys have inside of here.
Get my phone going here. It's slow rolling today. It must be too warm for it.
Okay. So next question's in from Ken. Just asking Lew, what are offers a studio could use? Reward tips? It makes sense to go out. Would it make sense to go out in the community and take pictures of businesses and do tips for them to get exposure?
Yes, that's a good point right there. One of the things you offer to do some cross marketing with maybe a salon or someone who works with you pretty closely but has no idea what this stuff is. And what you can do then is you can set up their business for them. Say, it's XYZ salon and they do the makeup for your seniors or whatever you're doing. You can then say, and then you can claim that business. And then what they can do is they can offer 20% off when you check in at that salon. Maybe it's a cut and curl or any service that they wanted to give a discount on. And then you can say, and that applies to whatever you might want to do at your, by checking in there, you get a special with you as well. You can cross market those. That would be a good way to do that. And nowadays there's some really low-cost alternatives to what we have. Wallet 10s, things like that. If you check in there and you book a session with us, you'll get a wallet 10 with your order and your session fee, or any number of ways you could do that. If you did like the senior reveal nights, sometimes we send out those things for early bookings and this and that, and they're going to get X amount of dollars. You're going to get this session for this price. So anybody who checks in at this event, hold an event in your area. And maybe you have a fashion show. Anybody that checks in, they get whatever promo you're going to do by checking in and sharing on Facebook. Then you can go right over to Facebook and you can check it and see that they did it and they got their special. So you could let your creativity run wild with it. But yeah, definitely if you don't want them to check in at your location, offer to do this and do the setup for somebody else's business that you want a cross-market partnership with, and then they get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm waiting to see any other questions come in here. And so just some stuff, that David and myself had always talked about, things that we think would be fun for photographers to do. Have something with, a mayor, or if you're doing a lot of senior stuff, a lot of the seniors are really going to be into this kind of stuff with social media and checking in. So if you have something where you have, maybe you can offer something, if you have like a senior rep program and whoever's the mayor that's checked in most with your location, that they've worked with you the most, they can maybe get more exposure, or you could give them some kind of extra prize. There's just things that we're always thinking of,
You could, and with today's new timeline covers, say you set up, that's pretty inexpensive for us to make.
Sure.
We could do, everybody who checks in gets their own personal timeline cover with checking in. Then, like you say, the mayor, you become the mayor of this. Well, we're going to give you, you're going to get that upgrade to something else. You're going to get a video. We're going to produce that for you. You'll get that $140 video or $199 video. You'll get that free if you achieve the mayor spot.
Definitely.
And then you can look at their spread. You tell 10 friends, you can actually go in and check who's spread that word on Facebook and Twitter, and you can tell exactly how many times that's been shared.
I totally agree with you. The next question, more comment came in from Cliff, just basically saying, you can definitely set up good opportunities to work with other wedding vendors for special offers, and and whatever you're shooting. If you work with any other vendors, like you said, a salon or makeup artist, you can set up some pretty cool things with this. And being that it's a free program to use, I feel like everyone should definitely take advantage of it while they can.
Right. Well, and you mentioned that with the wedding vendors, it's really funny. When I've checked in at churches before, there have been 8 other check-ins at the same place at the same time, so you actually can see right then who might be a potential bride-to-be. And 9 times out of 10, it's been usually a young female, and they probably are there with somebody, so you really can reach right out to them. So I start commenting on that. Hey, great to see you there. I don't really know who they were. I probably didn't see them. But but I know they're there. Sometimes it's hard to see that little profile on the phone, but they're right there is 8 to 10 new people, and then you go to the reception, and there's been as many as 25 people checked in at that place. So you really can get your name familiar with those folks that are there, and they're in that same age group of the folks you're photographing, they're very good potential clients. So, and you're just promoting them, and I love the footprint that it leaves on the web as well, because people will do a search and actually find these kind of things pop up on Foursquare with an image, and and that's it might be just a simple image of the wedding cake or some little detail shot.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go move on to the next question,
Okay,
guys, here. And before we run out of time, I just wanted to let everyone know that if you do have any additional questions, feel free to tweet at Lew or find him on Facebook. Not hard to find, and we're not hard to find on Facebook, just looking up PhotoBiz. So if you want to continue the conversation afterwards, please
yeah.
reach out. We'd love to answer any additional questions. So I wanted to grab one more question in here before we wrap things up, guys, and it's more of a tech question from Kristen, basically saying, been trying to set up their business on Foursquare, but continues to sign me in through personal Facebook information. How do I switch this to sign up with my business information?
You'll just have to go to you'll have to
Probably
really
go to the
kind of
main site now and
go
log
to
out
the
of
main,
Facebook.
log out of Facebook, go back to the main site and log in there.
Or maybe
And
from
then,
your phone as well.
yeah.
Mobile. You can do it through the app.
Mobile. Go through the app that way and then sign up and change your profile in that way. Now, I basically have my information on there as personal. Then what I did was I went in and added the business into that. So on that personal profile, you scroll way down to the bottom, and that's what I'm working on for the next time, to show how we can do more of this. And then you'll scroll down to the bottom to the right, and there's a couple different things where it will say claim my business, or list your this, and then you can put that in there. So you can set up a brand or you can set up a business, and then so you put that in, and then you just check into your address and put all that on there, and then you'll go in and claim that business, and then it will look like that. So it'll all be on there. And once you claim your business, then it will take you out of the opportunity to be mayor of it, but gives you all those administrative rights, so you got all the access to all the other good stuff.
Well, thanks again, Lew, for joining us, and Kristen, hopefully we helped you out with that question you had there. So we're going to go ahead and wrap everything up, guys. I saw a couple people joined a little late, so don't worry. We're going to post the recording to YouTube once we edit it. So it will be on our YouTube channel, which is just simply youtube.com/photobiz, and I know you've got one, Lew.
Yeah, I got Luby TV, and it's tied in through my blog there. So, but it's just LEWBIE TV on the YouTube, and we will definitely link together, and I put some tutorials up on there for various things, and I'm always active with that. So, and it's growing. I've got more stuff coming. I just haven't had time to upload it yet.
Well, again, thanks, Lew, for joining us, and thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you guys for all tuning in. If you want to check out our previous recorded webinars, like I said, you can totally just go over to our YouTube channel and check out our videos that we've got uploaded, and also if you'd like to see the rest of the webinars for this month, just simply head over to our blog at blog.photobiz.com, and we do have a posting there with the schedule. There are just 2 more this month. The reason we didn't have as many as normal is we are going to be at WPPI, and I do go to the trade shows. So if you're going to be there, definitely come by and say hey and meet me. Again, my name is Danny, and I'll be there with the rest of the PhotoBiz team, and we've got a pretty big 20 by 20 booth, so we're not too hard to find. And
your booth is awesome.
Thank you. We put a lot of hard work designing it, and yeah, we're really proud of it. So if you're at the show, definitely come by and check us out. And if you're with PhotoBiz, we'll have some specials for you guys. And if you're not, we'll also have some specials. So definitely come by, say hey, and if you're interested in any of our stuff, you can come in and check it out there. So again, I wanted to thank Lew and everyone for joining us, and we're going to go ahead and sign off now. So I hope everybody, yeah, thanks again, Lew, and I hope everybody has a great day.
You too, thanks.
All right,
Bye,
everyone, tuning out. Bye.